Welcome to our daily moment of wisdom. Today, we're going to explore something fundamental, the importance of trusting God and His wisdom. You see, the Bible is packed with teachings about this, especially in the Book of Proverbs. Let's dive into these lessons and break them down in a way that speaks to our everyday life. Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. These verses are asking us to fully trust in God, even when things don't make sense to us. It's like when you're driving on a foggy road. You can't see far ahead, but you trust the road is there. In the same way, God is asking you to trust that He sees the entire path of your life, even when you can't. Now, let's talk about the part where it says, lean not on your own understanding. What this means is that our minds are limited. We think we know what's best, but we only see a small piece of the bigger picture. When you lean on your own understanding, it's like trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces. Trusting God fills in those gaps. Now, let's dive into that part where it says, lean not on your own understanding. Our understanding is rooted in the five senses, what we see, hear, touch, taste, and smell. These senses give us a limited perception of the world, and most of the time, we trust them to guide us. But when you have true faith, you learn to disconnect from these senses. Why? Because faith isn't about what your eyes see or what your ears hear. Faith is about trusting the unseen, the deeper reality beyond the physical world. Think of it like this. When you only trust your senses, you're relying on an incomplete view of life. Your eyes can only see what's directly in front of you. Your ears only hear sounds nearby. But God's wisdom sees and knows beyond what your senses can detect. When you lean on your own understanding, it's like trying to navigate a maze blindfolded. You're stumbling through, hoping to find the way. But when you disconnect from the limits of your senses and lean into faith, it's like removing the blindfold. You begin to understand that there's a bigger plan, one you can't fully perceive but can trust. Faith is learning to see with your heart, to listen with your spirit. It's not about the physical signs you can measure or control. It's about feeling the truth in your soul, even when your eyes can't see it yet. When you let go of the need to understand everything with your five senses and start trusting God fully, you open yourself up to a new level of wisdom, one that's not restricted by what the physical world tells you is possible. Now, after understanding the limits of your own understanding and the role faith plays in helping you rise above the physical senses, let's talk about what it means to truly trust God in every area of your life. This isn't about blindly surrendering control over your life, nor is it about letting go of your responsibility. It's about recognizing that there's a higher wisdom, a guiding hand that sees far beyond what you can see. True trust in God doesn't mean giving up your part in the journey. It means knowing when to step back and allow His guidance to shape your path. Submit to Him in all your ways. You might wonder, does this mean I need to give up control over everything in my life? It's not about losing control. It's about recognizing that there's a higher wisdom guiding you. Think of your life as a river, and you as someone traveling along it. Sometimes, we spend so much time trying to control every twist and turn, paddling frantically to avoid every perceived obstacle, that we miss the natural flow of the river. But when you submit to God's wisdom, it's like learning to ride with the current, trusting that the river knows where it's going. Submitting to God doesn't mean that you don't act, that you don't make choices or take responsibility for your life. It means that you align your choices with His wisdom. When you stop trying to control every outcome and start moving with His flow, that's when life becomes smoother, more peaceful. You're no longer struggling against the current, fighting the natural course of things. You're flowing with it. It's also important to understand that submission is not about weakness. It's about strength and trust. It's about knowing that you don't have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. When you submit your ways to God, you're saying, I don't need to figure everything out on my own because I trust that you already have. This is when things start to fall into place naturally, without forcing or pushing. There's no need to fear losing control because, in truth, by letting go, you're gaining a greater sense of peace, direction, and purpose. Let's continue with another piece of wisdom from Proverbs 16 verse 9. In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. It's natural to want to plan your life, to set goals, and create paths for yourself. But what this verse is teaching is that while it's important to have plans, you must always remember that God is the one who ultimately shapes your journey. You may set your goals, have dreams, and think you know exactly how things will unfold, but there will be moments where life takes unexpected turns. That's when you have to trust that God is guiding you even when your plans change. It's like walking on a path through a dense fog. Your vision is limited, but God sees everything clearly. He knows the steps you need to take even when the way forward seems uncertain to you. The key here is balance. Plan your life, take action, but always stay open to the higher guidance that may shift your direction. Trust that God is aligning your steps with His bigger purpose for you. Sometimes, what seems like a detour is actually the right path to something greater. When life feels stagnant and nothing seems to be moving forward, that's when faith is truly tested. It's easy to trust when things are going well, but the real challenge comes when everything seems uncertain. Faith, however, isn't about seeing immediate results or understanding everything in the moment. It's about trusting in something greater than yourself, even when the path ahead is unclear. As Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6 teaches, we're called to lean not on our own understanding, but on God's wisdom, recognizing that His perspective is far broader than ours. Looking back on past experiences can help reinforce this. Think of the moments when you faced obstacles, yet, in time, those challenges either led to growth or were resolved in unexpected ways. Those situations remind us that God is often working behind the scenes, even when we can't see it. Keeping track of these small blessings, or even tiny steps forward, can help ground us during times of uncertainty and remind us that progress is being made, even when it feels invisible. Sometimes, what looks like a setback is actually part of God's plan for your development. The Bible is full of stories like Joseph's, where long periods of waiting or hardship eventually led to something greater than anyone could have foreseen. Obstacles are not always dead ends. They can be opportunities for growth. When you face difficulties, it might just be God preparing you for something bigger, even though it's hard to see in the moment. During these moments of uncertainty, it's important to stay connected to spiritual support. Reading scripture, listening to uplifting messages, or finding community among others who share your faith can provide the encouragement you need. The promise in Isaiah 40 verse 31, "Those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength," reminds us that even in waiting, strength is found in God, and that patience and trust in Him are never wasted. Acting in faith means continuing to move forward, even when you don't see the whole picture. Sometimes the most significant acts of trust come in those moments where you choose to keep going, even when there are no immediate signs of progress. As 2 Corinthians 5 verse 7 says, we are to walk by faith, not by sight. This means trusting that God is guiding your steps, even if you can't yet see the outcome. Taking those steps in faith, without needing to control every part of the process, brings peace and alignment with God's will. Letting go of control is one of the hardest parts of faith, especially when it feels like nothing is moving forward. But faith is about surrendering, trusting that God's plan is better than anything we could orchestrate on our own. When you release the need to control every outcome, you make room for God's greater wisdom to guide you. And that's when you start to experience true peace, even in the midst of uncertainty. God's timing and vision are always perfect, even when we can't immediately understand them. When you face moments where nothing seems to be moving and your path feels blocked, remember, true faith is not about what your physical senses tell you. It's not about what you see, hear, or feel in the external world. Faith is something deeper, beyond your understanding and beyond the limitations of your mind. In those quiet moments of uncertainty, trust that I see the bigger picture, and that picture is far more beautiful and complete than you can imagine. Your five senses are powerful tools, but they can sometimes deceive you. They show you the world as it is now, not as it could be. When you rely only on what you can see or understand, you're limiting yourself. Faith requires you to step beyond the five senses, to tap into a deeper knowing, a certainty that comes from trusting in me, even when you can't see the way forward. Just as I told you not to lean on your own understanding, this is where faith grows. It grows in the quiet spaces where you choose to believe in something greater than your current circumstances, where you align with a higher wisdom that moves beyond the physical world. And when you surrender your need to control, that's when life begins to flow. You stop fighting the current and start moving with it. You align with the rhythm of life, with the divine plan that's always been set for you. In those moments, everything begins to shift, not because you forced it, but because you trusted the process. This is faith in action, living not by what you see, but by the deeper truth that I am always with you, guiding you through every obstacle, every uncertainty. As you meditate on this, I want to invite you into our next conversation. In the next message, we'll explore how patience works alongside faith, how trusting in divine timing brings peace, even when the world around you feels chaotic. Together, we will dive into the wisdom of patience and why waiting is not inaction but preparation for something far greater. Thank you for joining me in today's reflection. If these messages are resonating with you, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and become part of this journey with us. This is just the beginning of a powerful series where we dive deep into timeless wisdom and explore how to truly live by faith. Our next video will continue this series, which I'm calling Faith in Action, Walking in Divine Wisdom. Don't miss out as we go deeper into the principles of patience, trust, and divine timing. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss a single moment of this transformative journey.